I've watched Challengers like 4 times now, and it is so bloody good for some reason. I don't know why it's this good. And I'm obsessed. So we need to talk about Challengers today and why this movie is this good. So the movie starts off being very intense. Oh, I'm going to talk about the movie. I'm excited. So it starts off being very intense. It shows close up of Tashi's eyes. Tashi is played by Zendaya, and there are two players, Patrick and Art. Art is played by Mike Fast. Is it Fast or First? Very beautiful person. And Patrick is played by Josh O'Connor. I wasn't really familiar with any of these actors until just watching Challengers. And I would say though, my favorites though, okay, we'll talk about my favorite eventually. But yeah, it starts off with them playing the tennis on the tennis court. They're each other's competitors. The way the movie is shot is we go back and forth. It starts from the present day to the past, the present day and the past. So when the movie starts with them playing the tennis, then we go back to I think few weeks before the game is on, and it shows Mike First and Zendaya in their bedroom. Zendaya's body was so tea, you guys. I had no clue. While she's preparing to go out, she then tells her husband, Art, she tells him, let's go. So they're in a hotel, and Zendaya is looking at an ad with both Tashi and in substance Zendaya. I'll use their character names. So Tashi is looking at an ad on her paper with Tashi and Art, that's her husband, and on the ad is written Game Changer. But she decides to change it to Game Changers, meaning I think it means that she's also part of the Game Changer, not just only Art, because I think it's focusing mostly on Art because Art is the bigger star now. He's a tennis player and she's his coach. So it's time for Art to play with a tennis player that they're in this room where they're waiting for someone to tell them it's time to play the game. And then a woman comes down and tells them, are you ready? It's time to play the game. Then Tashi goes up to Art and she touches his hair like it's a toy. She touches his hair and she's like,
decimate that little bitch.
one thing about Zendaya, I love when she curses. There's something it does to my body. He said, decimate that little bitch. He spits his gum on her hand. Also, we were watching this movie. There's so many thematic parallels that I didn't really notice in the beginning, or the second time I watched it, I didn't notice it. It's until I watched it the third time, I noticed lots of cinematic parallels. So we'll talk about the cinematic parallels while we're going forward. This movie is very fast, by the way. Very fast. They're in the hotel room. Tasha and Art are in the hotel room. They're watching a match that Art played, and Art is losing. Then Tasha is like, why are you losing? He said it's a confidence thing. She was like, she can't get his confidence up for him. He needs to get it by himself. She's not his mommy. He said, okay, no problem. He will try his best. Then she finds this place called New Rochelle. I don't know. I think that's where they're going to play a match. They're looking for somewhere to play a match so that he can up his game up. Then she finds this place called New Rochelle. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that well. And he agrees to play them. While she's leaving, he says,
Hey,
Yeah,
I love you.
I know.
that sounded very initially. This is the thing, I don't know if she loves Art. Obviously she likes Art, but when he told her I love you, if anybody tells you I love you, normally you tell them I love you back, right? But she said I know, and that was like, I won't say a red flag. Okay, it was a red flag actually, because why did your husband tell you I love you and you're saying I know? She didn't say it back. Then they show Patrick, and Patrick is broke. And these guys were friends when they were younger. They were friends, Patrick and Art. Patrick is broke. He went to the hotel to get a room. His card was declined. It's looking bad for him. Some couple came into the hotel, and one was like interested in Patrick. The other one was like, oh, he's smelling. Why would you be interested in this person? Patrick tries to beg the receptionist in the hotel that, oh, the tennis player is going to win the match. They'll pay him several $1,000 if he wins, and that she should let him just sleep for one night. So like, no, it's not allowed. Then he decides to sleep in his car, and it's looking bad for him. He then goes up to one of the coaches, yeah. He goes to one of the coaches for him to sign up. The first thing he did when he entered into the office was he was looking at the woman's donut, because obviously, like I said, he's broke, he hasn't eaten, and the woman was like, what are you doing? He kept on looking at the donut. She said, you hungry? Then she gave it to him, because obviously he's broke. Then she tells him that there are rumors that there's been some last minute changes, there's some surprise, and doesn't want to know who the surprise is. He was like, sure, who is it? Then she tells him it's Art. And Art, like I said, Art and Patrick, they go way back. They'll be friends for so long. Back to the present day, Patrick is whooping at ass. One thing I would say is Patrick is really good at tennis. Patrick is the better player. Art is good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Art has ever beaten Patrick in any of the games I've played. Patrick is a way better player. So back to the present day, and Patrick is whooping at ass. 13 years earlier, they showed them as teenagers, and they were teammates actually before they fell out. They were teammates. There's something that Patrick does when he's playing. There's a particular move he makes that just makes him way better. Where he gets the racket, or is it ratchet? It's racket. Where he gets the racket, and when the ball is coming, it will look like he wants to hit it, but he will then put the racket under his leg from his back and hit it. Like, that move is sick. And that was the move that made his team win. So they're eating and they're having fun. Then Art tells Patrick that can he do him a favor? That because they're going to play tomorrow. Yeah, they're going to play against each other tomorrow. Then he then tells Patrick,
Can you do me a favor? Can you not demolish me tomorrow?
then Patrick agrees to let Art win because I think Patrick wants to retire. They go to the courts. I don't know what they call the place where people watch tennis. Let's say the courtyard, I think. They go there. Patrick tells Art that the girl that is going to play next, Tashi Duncan, she's amazing. She's that girl. And she's throwing a party. We need to go for the party. He said Art wasn't really interested. He was like, okay. But Patrick was like, don't you want to see her? She's that girl. She's mother. They agree. Then Tashi then comes in. Zendaya is such a movie star, you guys. Zendaya is a movie star. Her walk, everything about her, incredible. I can't believe people were doubting the fact that people were arguing if she's a movie star or not. But that's the topic for another day. They're both mesmerized. Art and Patrick. Tashi starts playing. The camera work and the soundtrack in this movie is excellent. Once she starts playing, there's this song that you always play. Yeah, 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 yeah. Incredible. The score in this movie, you guys. The score is something else. I don't have to explain it. The score is, oh my god. I'm obsessed. Tashi is giving it to her player. Her opponent is Anna something, I don't know, Anna. Then she's giving it to her. Like, the game is really intense, but you could tell that Tashi is in for it. Like, she's giving it her all. Then Tashi wins, obviously, and she screams. I think Tashi was looking for one competitor that will be able to be on her level, because none of the other girls could be on her level. Also, another thing I didn't notice watching it, I don't know if I'm getting this well, but watching it in the cinema in IMAX, when Art and Patrick were watching Tashi play, I think they had a boner, both of them. That's why they showed their leg, like they showed the close-up of their leg. I think they had the boner, I'm not sure. So they go for Tashi's party and they're playing It's Getting Hot in Yeah, so take off all your clothes. I am getting... The songs that they played, the score is incredible. But I think the song they played for this scene, though, this party scene, wasn't the initial song they're playing, because from Zendaya's dance move, you could tell that she wasn't dancing to the song. But anyway, so Zendaya is at the party, and Art and Patrick are just really admiring her accomplishments, things she has done, because she has deals with Adidas. So they are watching Tashi dance in this gorgeous blue dress. Zendaya is so beautiful, you guys, and I keep on saying it. If she decided to go into modeling, I don't know, it would have been over for some girls, but she's so beautiful. So they're mesmerized. They're looking at Tashi and they're just really mesmerized. They introduce themselves to Tashi, and she's like, oh, she knows them, that they're playing tomorrow, right? They say, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then Patrick asks Tashi why she's not going pro. They invite Tashi over to the beach. Tashi talks about how tennis is really a relationship to her, and you could tell that from the game she played earlier with Anna, at that point in time when they're playing the game, they were in like a relationship, and you could tell because she was really invested and into it. And one thing about Tashi, I think Tashi does love tennis way better than the other boys, than Patrick and Art. Don't get me wrong, they love tennis, but Tashi's own is on another level. She's about to go and Patrick is interested in her. They're actually both interested in Tashi, but Patrick made the first move. Patrick was like, are you on Facebook? Then Art was like, what is active for? It's active for your number. And me too, I'm active for your number. And she's like, I'm not a homewrecker. She was about to leave. Then they invite her over to the hotel room, and now they're in the hotel room, they're waiting for her. Art is telling Patrick she's not going to come, and even though she comes, what are they going to do? Like, they made it sound like they wanted to both her in the room. And Patrick was like, isn't that what we want to do? What about Patrick? Patrick is very honest. Then they hear a knock on the door. Then they go mute and they're like, still. Like, what's that? Meanwhile, that room was so musty and dirty. Very musty and so dirty. They start cleaning everywhere. They rush towards the door immediately. And they're like, hi. You could tell they really, really like this girl. They like Tashi. But obviously, who won't like Tashi? He comes into the room and talking about how they knew each other since when they were 12 years old. She's just looking at both of them. I think she was really trying to examine them, like how their character really is. Then she looks at both of them. She's like, you two. So the actor, like, what do you mean by you two? Do they have anything like they have done in private? And Patrick was like, now hold on. We have something though, but I didn't want him to tell the story. Patrick decided to tell the story. And it was like, oh, I'm the one that taught Art how to jerk off when we were young. And Zendaya was so invested and interested in this story. She was like, what do you mean by jerk off? Her like, oh, okay, he was jerking off on his bed and Art saw him. This scene was so funny. And Art saw him and then he taught him how to do it. And he told him to imagine a girl while they're doing it called, I think her name was Kat. Yeah, her name was Kat while they were doing it. But they're on separate beds. Then she asked, so Tashi asked, so who came first? Who came first? Patrick was like, Art came first. And that scene was so funny. Patrick was then like, Art was so surprised when it happened. He was just lying down like this with the thing all over his stomach. That was so funny. Tashi then gets up, then she starts looking at them. Then she goes to the bed. And Art is like,
Which one of us?
Patrick got up immediately. Patrick, so fast. Then this was the scene that everyone has been talking about. Then she starts kissing Art. No, she was about to kiss Patrick first, but she kissed Art first. Then she kissed Patrick. Then she whips her hair back. And, she's in charge, obviously. She's the HBIC, the head bitch in charge. Then she whips her hair back and they know what to do. As they're all both kissing her face, she then tries to make them kiss each other. And they're like, whoa, we don't do that here. We should be mindful of why we're invited to the party. Like, we don't do that here. She's like, come on, it's fine. Then they start kissing. The camera work excellent. Also, the song that was playing in the background by Blood Orange, incredible. This movie was literally made for people like me, like people that love music. Tashi then leans back and let them kiss. They were really into it. They were really kissing. And she was just watching.
This is very telling of what I like about cinema.
So like, okay. The way the camera panned into their face was so funny. Then Art was like, can I get your number, please? She said, no, I told him I'm not a homewrecker. He was really begging for a number. She said, okay, you know what the deal is? Since you guys are going to play tomorrow, whoever is going to win gets my number. And both of them are interested in her, obviously. I think she really wanted Art to win, though, because she was looking at Art, and she told Art, you can beat him, right? And Art was like, well, what do you want me to do? She said, actually, you have to beat him if you want my number. So I think she was more interested in Art first. Art then tells Patrick, remember when you say you're going to allow me win? Patrick was like, that was ages ago. He doesn't care about that. He has to win. Then he gets up, Art gets up, he has a boner, and Patrick slaps it. That was crazy. So it's time for the match. This is like 30 years earlier, when they met Tashi. It's time for the match and Patrick is whooping Art's ass. If you really watch that scene, Patrick was taking it serious, but Art was really taking it more serious, but it was kind of clumsy. He kept on, was about to fall sometimes. He will run this way. He was clumsy. And you could tell that, oh no, Patrick is way better. Then Patrick won, so obviously he was the one that was going to get Tashi's number. So now back to the present day. A few days before their match. And Patrick is in the men's room. He's on Tinder, swiping right because he's looking for a place to sleep. He even swiped right on a guy. I was like, okay, come on, bisexual king. That's right, period. Then, because looking for somewhere to sleep, then a woman matches with him, and then he goes on a date with this woman. Then Tashi comes in. Patrick is very distracted, obviously, because he has seen Tashi, and you know he really does like Tashi. Then he excuses his date and tells her that he has something he needs to do quickly. Then he goes up to Tashi. Tashi was like, what the fuck are you doing here? You know you can't be here, and you know Art can't see us together because he already thinks that I planned this to humiliate him. But she did, obviously, because I think she intentionally chose that new Rochelle place so that he would play with Patrick. Mind you, you know they have not seen each other or talked to each other for so long. Patrick was like, did you plan all of this though? They should like, not this part. Then the art acting though was so incredible. It was so incredible. Now, 13 years earlier, this is when they're still teenagers. Like we all know, Patrick is dating Tashi now. And Art is really interested to know if they've had sex. And Patrick's like, bitch, none of your business. Why should I tell you? Plus, he doesn't kiss. It doesn't want to kiss and tell. Art is like, come on, he needs to know because he doesn't want to be left out. You have to tell me, come on, I don't want to be left out. Then he get up. Like I said, the cinematic parallels, because remember the scene when Tashi removed the gum from Art's mouth? Then Patrick did the same thing to Art. I didn't really notice this, but after my third rewatch, I noticed lots of cinematic parallels. Then Art is like, okay, rather than you not telling me, how about you make a move that I normally do as a signal for, yes, you guys had sex together. This thing was so important. Patrick was like, you know, before you're about to serve, you always put your ball in between the rackets. And I was like, really? Then he brings out the ball to see if it's actually true. And he does. I was like, okay. So if you guys actually had sex together, do that. Patrick starts laughing. Then he brings out his ball from his hand. And then he puts the ball in between the rackets. One thing about Patrick though, I love Patrick's smirk. His smirk is so evil. Then he puts the ball in between the rackets, throws it up, and then he serves. Now, Art is like, oh, you motherfucker. Like, you really had sex with her. Like, good for you. Like, he was smiling. He seemed happy. But when Patrick turned his back, Art's smile turned to, like, jealousy. That's when I know that, you know what? I think Art is actually the villain. Don't get me wrong. They're all villains. But Art is very conniving, because that scene alone showed that, oh, this is a fake bitch. It's better to have a friend that you know is evil and ain't shit than to have a friend that acts like, oh, I'm so innocent, I can't hurt butterflies because I'm pretty. Those ones are the worst, because that's how Art was. The way he switched up his smile from being happy for his friend Patrick to, you know, being sad because he was jealous. Then Art takes Tashi on a date, not date, lunch. This is when I know Art was very conniving. He's trying to know why they're still dating. And Tashi is like, why are you so interested to know if we're still dating? Did Patrick tell you anything? Is he cheating on me? Because I think Patrick is on tour. Then Tashi is about to leave. Then Art says, you know he's not in love with you, right? Tashi then says, what makes you think I want somebody to be in love with me? Like I said, Tashi really doesn't care about love. All she cares about is tennis. He says,
I mean, who wouldn't be in love with you?
she calls him,
I think you might be the worst friend in the world.
which is the truth, because why are you trying to sabotage your best friend's relationship? Patrick comes to visit Tashi, obviously, but he meets Art first. The way Art kept on looking at Patrick, like he's not happy for him. Then Art asks Patrick, how is it all going? No fun stuff. No fun stuff, meaning that he wants to know if he's actually sleeping around so that he would tell Tashi. Art is so sneaky and conniving, you guys, very conniving. But he hides his disguise under this, I'm a pretty boy, you know. Patrick is like, why would you want to know if I'm sleeping around? I'm not sleeping around. I'm in a relationship with Tashi. Art tries to tell Patrick that, or he doesn't know if Tashi takes this relationship very serious. Or he didn't call it relationship, he said what they have going on. He doesn't know if she takes it very serious, because he talked to her and he doesn't think she's really interested. She never told him that though. She never told him she wasn't interested. He was trying to put all these things into their mind so that they will break it up and it would enter into Patrick's place. Art is so evil. But Patrick is smart and he caught onto it immediately. Patrick like,
Fucking snake. Honestly, I'm proud of you.
I can see you're interested in my girlfriend, and he likes it obviously because he feels like his match lately have been boring, and him being excited about wanting his girlfriend, makes him happy. At least it will make his match more exciting. And Art is like, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to come between you and your girlfriend, which is a lie. We all know he really wants Tashi so bad. Patrick goes to meet Tashi in her dorm room. They start making out, and while they're making out, she's talking about tennis, and Patrick is like, can we just like not talk about tennis and just focus on what we're doing here? And she says, you know what? She doesn't want to make her anymore. She's not interested. Then they get into a big fight.
I need to be alone, so can I just meet you there?
She tells Patrick that I want to be so embarrassing that you're my boyfriend and then you're not very good at tennis. And then Patrick is like, hold on. He said, I'm not one of your fans. I'm literally your peer. And she's like, oh, you're not a fan of my fan club? He said, no, we are peers. And this part where he shaded Art, and Art deserved that whacking.
I'm not some fucking lapdog who's gonna sit around and let you punish me. I'm not Art.
He said, I think what you want is somebody you can control and someone you can use as your toy, someone to carry on your dunking name. He said, I'm not fucking Art. Then they break it off. One thing that was very cute in this scene though was the fact that I didn't notice this watching it the first time. Patrick wore Tashi's shirt and she wore his shirt, and he actually kept the shirt, which was actually very cute. It's time for a match and Art is waiting for Patrick. He texts Patrick, where are you? Patrick texts him back and he says he's not going to come, that they had a big fight. Like I said, Art is very sneaky and conniving. You could tell from this scene that Art was actually happy that they had a fight, because they kept on showing his face and he had this villainous smile. His smile was very subtle, but if you watch it well, you could tell that he was actually excited, because I'm actually quite evil a little bit, so I know when somebody's also being evil and when somebody's being a snake. Tashi is playing the game and she's playing with anger, like she's so angry. And like I said, like this score that always comes up whenever Tashi is playing. Yeah. That soundtrack, the score, beautiful. Now she's playing, she's really angry. She's hitting the ball with anger. She's using all her body and her mind, her soul. Then Tashi made this one move that was so crazy. The move she made was with her leg. Then when she made that move, her knee got broken. It was not looking good for her. Art runs to the field immediately. You could tell that the fight she had with Patrick really affected that match, because she was really angry. Patrick comes to visit her and she gets angry. She's like, get out. He's trying to explain and apologize to what happened, but she's not here for it. Then Art gets up and shouts,
Oh, Patrick, get the fuck out!
I'm like, I don't know what you think it is. Because why you getting angry on Tashi's behalf? I understand that, yeah, she's grieving, but Art was really pissing me off. I'm sorry. Then Patrick leaves, and that was the last time he talked to either Tashi or Art. Starts training with Tashi while she still had her bandage on her leg, and she's like, don't go easy on me. Act like you're actually playing. Then he starts playing normally, but she doesn't have it because, like I said, her leg is bad. She falls, and it's not looking good for my girl. So 3 years later, she comes to visit Art. I keep on mistaking her name, Patrick Art, because they're always together, that's why. They go to the restaurant, and Art suggests that Tashi becomes his coach. And she's like, don't you think that's a bad idea? Her like, why is it a bad idea? She said, you know why? But Art is like, that was years ago because of the incident that happened with them and Patrick. I know Patrick was his friend. But like, that was years ago. Besides, he had not talked to Patrick since, which is so weird to me, because why are you not talking to your best friend that you guys knew each other since 12 because of that incident? I can understand Tashi not talking to him, but why? Like, I don't understand why he did that. Like, that was such a... But Art really annoyed me, but it's fine. Art was pretty. It doesn't matter. She said, oh, that means she was in fact a homewrecker. And I'm like, well, yes. She then tells him that, so that means that you're no longer in love with me, but he did answer. She then agrees to be his coach. She then tells him,
You never really said if you're still in love with me or not.
Who wouldn't be?
Cinematic parallels. The same thing he said when he was on lunch with Tashi when they were still teenagers.
I mean, who wouldn't be in love with you?
I sound like a film student saying cinematic parallels. They go out. Art was like,
I really want to kiss you right now, but I'm afraid if I try, you'll think I'm the worst friend in the world.
again, cinematic parallels, because that was the same thing she said when they were, they had their lunch.
I think you might be the worst friend in the world.
And when he said that, I feel like if I do that, if I kiss you, you might think I'm the worst friend in the world. Tashi is like,
To who?
since they're no longer friends, who are you going to be the worst friend to? Also, this scene was very important because I feel like this scene really showed how their relationship is. Because their relationship was very calm and quiet. Now we're back to the present day. This is days before the actual match. Patrick sees Tashi in the hotel again and he says he needs to talk to her. He says she's going to get angry for what he's going to say, but he wants her to be his coach. The way she was so irritated, this is why he says that Zendaya is a good actress, because he was blabbing about what the reason why she should be his coach. The acting with her eyes, because not everyone can really act with their eyes, but her acting with her eyes, she was so irritated with everything he was saying, and he said, so what do you think? Then she slaps him.
How fucking dare you?
She really whacked him in this scene, like she dragged him good. Like, do you think I would waste a second of my fucking life to help you achieve your dreams? She's like, what dreams? Like, you're 31 years old.
You're 31, you have a better shot with a handgun in your mouth.
Patrick tells Tashi that I don't think you came here for art. I'm like, ooh. She said, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by I didn't come here for art? He said, did you tell Art what happened in Atlanta? That means they did something in Atlanta, obviously, because she was speechless. She didn't know what to say. Patrick tells Tashi that, look, Art is tired. You can tell from his game. He's tired. He wants to just eat burgers and retire. And he will only do that if you tell him to do it. Which is true, because anything Tashi says, Art always does. She's about to leave. Patrick gives her his number and tells her that you can call me if you change your mind. 8 years earlier, now they are young adults, Patrick kept Tashi's shirt. The shirt that she wore, when they're making out. The I Told Ya shirt. Now, present day, like I said, the movie goes back and forth. Present day, that in the sauna. Is this sauna? Oh, it's the sauna. Where if you wanna. Yeah, that in the sauna where people get steam and heated. Art is in there. Patrick comes in, butt naked, and tells, like I said, the cinematic parallel. He tells Art,
Can you do me a favor? Not like demolish me tomorrow?
the same thing Art said years ago.
Can you do me a favor? Can you not demolish me tomorrow?
Patrick really wants to know why Art is so angry at him, because they have not talked since that incident, like 13 years ago. And he said, this is more than Tashi. Like, why have we not talked? And you could tell that Patrick genuinely missed Art. The thing is, Patrick did like Art more. If you ask me my opinion, I think Patrick liked Art more than Art liked Patrick. That's why Art was ready to let their friendship go off immediately because of Tashi. Why are you so angry at me? I think the reason why you're angry at me is the fact that you feel that you're still angry at the fact that Tashi could have ended up with someone like me. They dated. And Art was like, sure.
When we were teenagers.
Patrick gives his smirk. Anytime he does that smirk, very villainous and evil.
When we were teenagers.
To me, the smirk was the highlight of the movie. That smirk, highlight of the movie. They then show Atlanta. This is what happened in Atlanta, actually. They show them, then this movie is long. Hold on. So they show Atlanta and Tashi is in the lobby of a hotel listening to the news. And remember the girl that Tashi played with when they first saw Tashi, Anna? She has gone on to do so well. They're talking about Anna on the news, how she has won the Wimbledon. Is that the word? Wimbledon. Yeah, for tennis award. It's a very big award for tennis players. She has gone on to win it, and apparently there's no woman in the women's field for the tennis that could be on her level, which is sad because Tashi was whooping her ass back then. So this just made me think of like what would have been if Tashi didn't go through that leg injury. Obviously, she would have been on the level, or in fact, she would have surpassed Anna. But yeah, Tashi was watching the news. You could tell that she was a little bit heartbroken. Patrick then sees Tashi from the window. Mind you, he's still wearing the shirt of I Told Ya. That was so cute. She was engaged because she was wearing engagement ring. Then he sits down. She's about to drink. He gets the drink from her hand. Then they start kissing. Art comes down from his room. He comes out from his room and then he sees Patrick and Tashi talking. And he's shocked. Like, why are they talking? Then, unfortunately for him, two fans come in and they interrupt him. They ask for an autograph to sign the cap. He signed it. The millisecond, immediately he turns back, they had gone. They had gone. Meaning he didn't see them in the kiss, nothing. Art is talking to Patrick in the sauna and he's telling him how he's a loser, that the problem is that he never grew up. He was really whacking him. That all that matters in tennis is winning, and that's what he's in for. He's in for winning. Patrick says,
I don't matter.
That was so sad. That was so sad. Because you could tell, like I've said, you could tell Patrick really, really loved Art so much. Patrick says, so I don't matter. Art's like,
Not even to the most obsessive tennis fan in the entire world.
Art was so mean. Now I'm thinking about it, Art was actually mean. Then he says,
I'm not talking about tennis.
What the fuck else do I have to talk to you about?
so I think they're talking about, like, you know, that friendship, the kiss that they also had too. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure. Now they're in the hotel room, Tashi and her husband, Art. He enters the room and he tells Tashi that, can you tell me it won't matter if he wins or if he loses tomorrow? She was confused. He then tells her he's going to tell her something that might make her very angry or sad, but he has to tell her that he's tired. Literally the same thing Patrick said, because Patrick knows him too well. He said he's tired, he wants to retire, that he can't keep on doing this when he's 40, that he doesn't want to be one of those guys that doesn't know when to stop certain things at a particular age. He says, please just tell me that it won't matter if he loses or if he wins tomorrow. And Tashi is like, you know what?
If you don't win tomorrow, I'll leave you.
He becomes sad. He's acting his back. He was acting his back good on the bed. We just thought that she felt very sorry for him, like her toy, her sad little toy. She goes to the toilet and she calls Patrick. Present day, while they're still playing their match. As they're playing their match, Tashi kept on looking at Patrick for some reason. You could tell something was very suspicious. Like something about this does not sit right in my spirit. And Art noticed it. Why are you looking at him? And why is he looking at you? Something was very suspicious. A few days before the match, after she had called him, Patrick is waiting for Tashi outside with a smirk. His smirk, anytime he does that smirk, just know that he's up to no good. Tashi comes in and she told him to drive. In Patrick's mind, he thought that she came over for them to have sex. So like, bitch, I'm not here to fuck you. Like, I'm here to tell you that I need you to lose tomorrow. He was like, no way would he lose. Like, why would he lose? He said that she needs him to lose because she can tell that Art is really back on his grind, but he just needs to win this match to boost his confidence. He then tells Tashi that this is very insulting to Art, that you want me to lose on his behalf. Then she hits him, said, how dare you talk to me like that? Like,
I'm taking such good care of my little white boys.
now they're fighting in the car. Tells her that the funny thing is that she actually came here to have sex with him and she knows it, but she doesn't admit it, that she's up to no good. Like I've said, Patrick knows Tashi well because both of them are very similar. Both toxic, both chaotic, very similar. Then she tells them to pull over. She's not having it. They're really fighting in the car, screaming. He pulls over. It's very windy. This whole scene was shot so well. It's very windy. The soundtrack, as she's about to leave, Patrick comes down and tells her that that's not the way to your hotel. Then once she stops, the soundtrack, dun,
Your hotel's that way.
very beautiful, yo, amazing. Then she goes back to meet Patrick. Then she spits on him. Once she spits on him, they're looking at each other. This scene is, like I said, remember the scene of when they were in the restaurant, Art and Tashi, when we were outside, when Art said he wants to kiss her and he kissed, and it was very calm. Now, that scene shows how, I sound like a film student, it shows how their relationship is. Now, this recent scene of Patrick and Tashi kissing, it also shows how their relationship really is, because the scene was so chaotic, it was so windy, the song, but she really, really liked it. It was very chaotic and all over the place, and that's how their own relationship is. Also, what? Cinematic parallels. cinematic parallels. And this scene was a little bit sad though. When you go back to her hotel room, she enters her daughter's room. She sees Art there with their daughter. Then Patrick then tells Tashi that this is them in the car when they were done making out. He tells Tashi that he misses her playing. Tashi tells Patrick that tomorrow during that match, he has to make Art feel like he earned his win. Don't just play, like obviously lose, but make him feel like he earned it. And Patrick agrees to do it. Now back to the present day. Now the last 15 minutes of this movie, the last 15 minutes is what movies are about. The last 15 minutes is... Anytime I watch it, I have goosebumps. So the last 15 minutes. Now, present day, Patrick is playing. And while he's about to save, he keeps on looking at Tashi. And he's wasting time. Patrick kept on wasting time for some reasons. He kept on looking at Tashi and Art. Then, this scene... He brings out the ball. Then he puts the ball in between the rackets. Now, cinematic parallels. Remember back then when Art wanted to know if Tashi and Patrick had stepped to each other, and he told him to make that move because that's Art's move. When he puts the ball in between the racket, he should make that move as a signal to show that they step to each other. Now, present day, while they're playing the match, Patrick does that move. Art is standing still. He shook. Like, nobody understands. Even Tasha was like, what the hell is going on? She doesn't understand. And Tasha's confused. Like, she's looking at them. What just happened? Because only them that understand what happened. Only two of them. Then Patrick does his evil smirk, as always. That smirk is the highlight of this movie. Art is just like... Meaning that he slept with Tashi before the match. The reason why he slept with her was that she wanted him to lose intentionally. Patrick nods his head. He nods slowly. Without saying anything, cinema, he nods his head. So Art shouts,
Fuck off!
That fuck off reminds me of Logan Roy from Succession. So he's angry. Art is so angry. He's sweating. It's his turn to serve. Once he got the ball, he served the ball angrily at Patrick. And he almost hits Patrick. But you could tell that for the first time, I think Patrick was a little bit scared of Art for the first time. Now, this last scene, this is the tie break. Now, this is the scene this is one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my life. I'm not joking. This scene always does it for me. Anytime I watch this tie break scene, because this is the last scene, I get goosebumps. I'm not joking. Like, every time, I need it injected in my veins. Now, because of how angry Art is, you can tell that Patrick has brought out the beast in him. Now, Art is looking at Patrick. Patrick does a smirk, like, it's go time, let's go. Like, let's go! Then they start playing. Oh my god, this scene. The camera work, incredible. I don't know how they did it, but they're able to get us see from the tennis point of view. While the tennis ball was going from Patrick to Art, we're seeing it from the tennis ball point of view, which was so insane. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. The song, the score was incredible. I can never forget it in my life. The score as they were playing. This time around, initially when they were playing, it would be for like few seconds where they go toe to toe, and before you know it, one person will fumble. But this was more than a few seconds. They were going toe to toe. Boom! Once this person hits the ball, the other person will hit. Like, this is what cinema is about. Sickening. Then the fact that they also made the move. That one move Tashi made with her leg that broke her knees. They both made that move, and I'm like, oh my god! I was scared though. I was scared something was going to happen. PTSD, obviously, when you watch what happened to Tashi. Then the way they made the move. When Art made the move, and then Patrick also made the move. When Patrick made the move with his leg, then the soundtrack now goes. I'm like, wow, this is cinema. Now they're really playing, and you could tell from Art's face, Art is really enjoying this game this time around. Like, you could tell he has missed Patrick. He has missed him. He was enjoying it because he was actually smiling when they're playing. Beautiful. And also, Tashi was very invested in it because this time around, she's getting a very good game. She's moving like this. Initially, she was only looking at either Patrick or she'll look at only Art. This time around, she's going both ways. Like, she's really into it. It was so good. So then, Art goes up. He, like, the way the scene was shot is beautiful. Art goes up to hit the ball. Patrick tries to go up to. That's how. I don't know who won though. But the ball hits Patrick's side. Then Art fell on Patrick and they hugged. Once they just hugged, the slow motion was beautiful. The way they rose up. And then Zendaya shouts. And she smiles. The movie ends. So beautiful. Cinema. So the thing about this ending is that people still don't know if Art won or if Patrick won. Because some people are saying Art won because of Zendaya being happy. But in my mind, I think the reason why Zendaya was happy is, I don't think Art won, or maybe he won, I don't know. But the reason why Zendaya was happy is she finally got to see a very good game. I think she has always wanted to see a very good game, because even when they were in the hotel room, when they were still young, when they asked for her number, and she told them that whoever wins gets her number, she said she doesn't care. All she wants is to watch a fucking good game. And that's why she was happy this time around. She got to see a very, very good game. So that's Challengers, guys. I had so much fun watching this. Am I going to watch Challengers again? Well, yes! For some reason, this movie has solidified itself as my favorite movie in a long time. It's up there as one of my favorites of all time. I know people have their doubts and people have their flaws about it. I don't care. It was entertaining as hell. One thing about me, if you know me well, I'm not a big fan of long movies. Any movie that is 2 hours long, I'm just like, eh. But this movie doesn't feel like it. And this is what movies should be about. Movies that are 2 hours long, that you don't feel the wrong time. Not the wrong time, the wrong time. You won't feel it. That's how I feel about Challengers. Like, I don't feel the wrong time. It was so good. People keep on, and people says, "Yeah, I know a good actress." Go to hell. When by she know a good actress, she gave a good performance. But in my opinion, my favorite performance in this movie, my favorite goes to Josh Patrick. Patrick was incredible. Oh my god! Like, I'm not used to the actor. I've never watched any of his movies. I don't know who he is, but he was outstanding. But that's why I like this movie though, because the actor was very subtle. Zendaya's acting was subtle. Everybody gave a subtle performance. Same with Josh. All Josh needed to do was just give us a smirk. And he sold it for us. Just the smirk. Beautiful. So that's it, guys. I had fun watching this. If you want me to continue doing things like this on this channel, let me know. What movie you want me to talk about like this. I had fun watching this and talking about this. I had so much fun. I really needed to rant about this movie because I loved it so much. So much. So that's it, guys. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, comment. Are there any other things I missed in this movie? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I will see you for my next video commentary. Bye.